All right. Good Friday morning, everybody. Today is Friday, June 2nd. Welcome to your Friday morning safety meeting. My name is John Harden. I am in our safety department here at Prime in the Springfield terminal. We are located in the Z building on the main level, just as you enter the building. And we're right up there by Success Leasing. Everybody knows where Success Leasing is most likely. So if you're ever here on the yard, have any questions, comments, or concern for the safety department, please come up there and please see us. We will be happy to help you out. If we don't know the answer, we will definitely get you with somebody that can answer your question. This morning, we've got a guest down here from Pittston. Rick Gifford is down. Good morning, Rick.
Hey, good morning, everybody. How's everybody doing out there?
Good deal. Well, we've got a little bit of a light crowd here, so we'll see how the other terminals are faring as well. But I want to welcome everybody here to Springfield this morning. For anybody that's out there listening on social media, we're live on YouTube, LinkedIn, and Facebook this morning as well. So if you're not able to join us in one of the terminals, hopefully you're out there parked and listening. If you're out there working this morning, we're recorded, so you can look at it later on this afternoon whenever you get a chance. So. This morning we're gonna go out east first. So what do we got out there this morning?
Let's go out east and talk to Lisa. Is Lisa out there?
Good morning. Yes, I am.
Good morning, Lisa. How are you today?
I am wonderful. It's already close to 65 degrees here, maybe even a little bit more, and we're gonna hit mid 90s today. So it's gonna be a nice day.
That's nice. I like to hear that. That means my pool is warming up there.
Oh yeah.
How's this week?
This week is great. As you can see, we have a great crowd here today. A lot of students, some upgrades. Everything is going well. I talked to Bill down from the training pad. He said everything is great this week.
Good deal. Anything new this week? Everybody back in the office after the upgrade?
Yeah. So our operations remodel is done. All of our in-house associates are back in the office. So it looks great, and people are loving it.
Good deal. Good deal. Hey, if you guys got any questions up there, just get them on the mic. Don't hesitate, and we'll come back up to you. Appreciate you. Thank you.
Sounds great. Thanks.
All right, thanks, Lisa. Let's go out west now to Salt Lake City. I believe we have Aaron Ward out there. Good morning, Aaron.
Good morning. How are you?
We're doing good down here. How's Salt Lake City?
Everything's great out here. We're putting the final touches on the yard here for the truck driving championship, which is going to happen tomorrow. We're forecast for 76 and partly cloudy. Should be a perfect day. And we've got the team here this morning, so I'm going to bring them up along with Stan Kastricky, who's out here this week. And I'll let him introduce them.
Hey, good morning, Aaron. Thank you. Hey, good morning, everyone. I hope you're all doing okay this morning. So we're going to bring up our team this morning. Most of these folks are seasoned drivers. I guess all of them are, even Roy. So let me introduce here, standing here, Anthony Eck. So Anthony is a 2 million mile driver for us. He's been at Prime since 2008. He has competed in the competitions in the past in Missouri, so he's familiar with what's going on. He's been very influential out here in helping do the practices and things like that. Then we have Charles Smith. There's Charles. So Charles is a rookie this year. 6 years of safe driving with Prime. And he's going to be doing, what class are you in? 5-axle class. Anthony, what class? Tanker class. I thought I had that written down, but I don't. So then we have Ben Walker right over here. Ben's been a competitor in Missouri in the past. He's a 1 million mile driver, 11 years of safe driving. Been a Prime for how long, Ben? Yep. Okay, then we have Daniel Thornton. Daniel is actually a rookie driver this year. He is a 1 million mile safe driving 1 million mile driver. Roy Romo. Hey, and something about Roy, his wife Renee and he have been married for 8 years today. Let's give him a hand. So Roy is a 1 million mile driver at Prime as well. Then Jeffrey Wittis is here. Whitus, sorry, Jeff. Jeff, you're driving in what division? Tanker division. Been a Prime for 4 years. You came through our driver training program? Yeah. Yeah, 8 years. I'm sorry. Okay. So just to kind of cover this a little bit, we're having the competition here in Salt Lake City. It starts this afternoon. There's going to be registration, and then they're going to do written tests tonight. Our team will. But we've also have this going in Missouri as well. David White is in Branson, Missouri this weekend with the Missouri team. There's going to be 15 involved in that. They're starting their tests this morning, and they'll go today through tomorrow. So if you're in Branson or if you're in the Springfield area, go down to Branson to the landing, to the convention center down there, and you'll be able to observe them and see how the Prime team's doing. If you're around the Salt Lake City area, you can come here to Salt Lake City. We're actually doing this competition on our training pad out here at the terminal. We'd welcome all of you to come and watch the competition. It's really a great time. Be sure and wear your sunscreen if you're in Salt Lake City, because it's going to be a beautiful sunny day.
Outstanding. Thank you, Stan. And good luck to all of you out there. We wish you well. I hope the guys down at Branson do well also. Or Stan, are you seeing anything different up there than maybe you see down here in Missouri? Anything different for the competitors?
Ask me that again, John. I'm sorry. I'm having a little trouble hearing you.
Oh, is there anything up there that you're noticing that's different than maybe what you're used to down here in Missouri? Anything different for the competitors?
So here's what we're having to be careful about. We have to be careful to say, well, that's not how we do it in Missouri. So it is different, but, we're adapting. This is our inaugural team here, and so we're going to make it happen. I almost failed to mention a couple of very important people. We've got Scott Fisher here next to us, is also the captain of the team, but he's been the guy that's organized all of this, him and Anthony. And then we have Leon Frank. Leon's back there in the back. And you can't see him right now, but he has actually been very, very helpful in helping set up our practice courses and things like that. So thank you to those of you who have volunteered and the competitors. And we're going to have a great showing here in Utah for our first year. So thanks.
Well, good deal. Does anybody have any questions or anything while we've got Stan up there? All right, give him a round of applause and good luck, guys. All right, so let's come back here to Springfield, Missouri. So good morning, everybody. Good morning. Thanks, Dee. We've got a little bit of a lighter crowd, but whenever we went to the other terminals there, I noticed a few yellow vests. We've got a few floating around here today. So, whether you're coming in as a DC student or you're coming in here with experience, if this is your first week here at Prime, no matter what terminal you're in, please stand up and let us welcome you to the Prime family. And we want to say thank you for being here. All right, and one more thing. I noticed that everybody out here is eating breakfast here. So if everybody could, give it up for John over here and his crew for making this delicious breakfast for everybody. We can't forget breakfast, right? That's important. So Rick, let's talk about some inspections. I believe you had the privilege of going through them this week.
Hey, I did. And, they were kind of light as far as the amount of inspections that we had this week. We had 102 inspections, but the amount of cleans was phenomenal. 76 clean, which put us at 75%. So that's awesome.
Yeah, give yourself a round of applause.
Round of applause. That is awesome.
That's up about 8 to 10% maybe from... I think it was. So that's outstanding.
Yeah, I think that's the highest we've been in that we've ever been. Hey, a couple things I did find. I did see in those inspection reports. Speeding in a construction zone when there's workers present. It's that time of the year again, and it seems like it never really left as far as construction season. But it is out there, and they are out there, and they're trying to fix these roads. So be mindful of their presence. Be mindful of the speed limits that you need to be down to going through those construction zones. Also, there's several states out there that restrict you to certain lanes. So make sure that you're paying attention to those signs also. I did see a couple of those where we got hit for failing to obey a lane because they weren't in the left lane where the right lane where they belonged. So make sure that you're mindful of that also with construction. Couple other things I seen were parking on shoulders. When you're parking on the shoulder road, there's really two reasons why you should be there. You're dying or the truck's dying. That's what it comes down to. But when you do park on a shoulder road, there's a couple things that you need to do while you're there. One of them is get your triangles out, put your four-ways on, and you have a certain amount of time to do that, and that's 10 minutes. Anything over that, you're parked illegally. So you make sure that when you are parked on the shoulder road, get those triangles out within 10 minutes and get your flashers on. All right. Any questions or comments regarding inspections? All right.
All right. Thank you, Rick. So yeah, to add on to Rick's point here, this week in our safety staple, we kind of went over some topics that we've talked about the last 2 or 3 weeks, and we just wanted to get them back out in front of everybody. And the subject line was kind of dotting our I's and crossing our T's. And we talked about the IFTA stickers in there. We brought up Sean Riker here a few weeks ago when he talked about the IFTA stickers, making sure they're on your tractor, making sure they're the new ones. So if you haven't done it yet, make sure you check, make sure we've got the current stickers on both sides. If not, reach out to our permit department. We also talked about, what we talked about here yesterday in the weekly safety staple. Reporting accidents in timely fashions. We had an example last week where we didn't know about an accident and somebody, one of our drivers said, we'll take care of this with cash on scene. 3 months later, we get an email from somebody saying, hey, we're hurt and we don't know about the accident. So never a good thing, even if you aren't sure if you made contact with somebody, if somebody is alleging that you hit something, their trailer, their tractor, just give us a call and let us handle it. There might be important information that we need to get, while you're there at the scene. You might not be thinking clearly. You may be a little bit shook up. Whatever the case is, reach out to us. Let us help you, walk you through that process. It's not something that everybody deals with on a daily basis at all. So, just get with us. We want to protect you out there. But
yeah, we have a great team as far as not only in the safety department, but our claims department. And we have a lot of knowledgeable people that understand how those processes work. And we can walk you through what we need to walk you through. And once that's done, we can hand it off to the claims and they know what they need to do. So yeah, get them reported in a timely manner.
And absolutely. And as always, as we talked about, Rick spoke directly about construction. So, make sure that we're increasing our following distances, make sure we're watching our speeds, and make sure we're watching out for those speed limit signs, whether they may be temporary, permanent, whatever the case may be. But, let's be safe out there this summer. We want you all to go out there, be accident free, be citation free, and be a profitable business. So, Rick, you want to get our first speaker up here this morning?
Yeah, let's, you want me?
Sure, go ahead.
DHF, we have Rachel and Colby. They're going to come up and talk about driver health and fitness.
Rick brought in donuts this morning. I told him not to do it.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's motivation, right? That's okay. I like that. Rachel, you have a microphone too? Awesome. Thanks, sir. Hey, good morning, everybody. I'm Colby with the Driver Health and Fitness. This is Rachel.
Hi.
Rachel's our dietitian here on site. We kind of get in front of you guys every so often. We just want to let you know we're here, be a resource for you in all 3 locations. We have a little bit of information I want Rachel to share with you. We've talked about it over and over a couple different times on Friday mornings, but how obviously we want to help with the fitness and the nutrition side. But one of the important things we want to look at is what maybe in the cost savings we could have by maybe prepping food in our truck, making food ahead of time, all those different things. So Rachel, you want to share a couple things real quick with them, maybe some benefits and financial stuff?
Yeah. So has anyone in here doing any cooking on your truck or doing anything like that? Have a microwave, fridge? Awesome. Okay.
A few show of hands. I like that. There we go.
Yeah.
Just raise it high. You don't have to be like, yeah. Take pride in it.
Awesome. Well, yeah. So if you have some cooking equipment on your truck, like I know getting into it, it can seem kind of intimidating. You're like, how is this going to work? How am I going to do the cleanup? All of that. It definitely is possible though, right? Like you find ways to make it work. And one of the things that we really promote is cooking on your truck. We have a lot of resources and things to help you guys with that on our website. And some of the cost savings are pretty significant. So one of the recipes on our website is with, it's like an open face omelet in an electric skillet. If you guys have ever heard of those, they're a great tool to have on your truck. Yeah, you're nodding. Yeah, so they are a good piece of equipment to have. And this recipe, it makes a pretty large portion for an omelet, a veggie omelet, and it is $4.71 per serving, and that's a cup and a half serving, so it's pretty big.
About half a pan, right? Because you said it was.
Oh, I forgot to bring the pan. Yeah,
Right, that's all right. So yeah, like a 12-inch pan, there's half of that. So it's a lot.
So it's a pretty big serving. So you definitely will get full off of that. You're going to get awesome protein. You're going to get some veggies in, and it's made from almost entirely canned ingredients, and then like the eggs would be in the fridge. Or there's the option to get a breakfast from Denny's. So that is, I think, is like a little over $12 per serving. So it's almost like
Right. Yeah. So three times the
this.
savings, right? So we were talking about that before. Is just one meal like that in a week, you're talking could be $8 to $10 savings, and multiply that times 4 weeks in a month. It adds up. So that's the idea, right? So Rachel, we always talk about is the nutrition advantage and benefits, but let's also talk about the finance. So
yeah,
that's
and
exactly
nutrition wise, you're still getting your protein in. So you're getting 26 grams of protein with the skillet, the omelet that we have on our website, and then you're getting I think it's like 3 times the amount of calories whenever you go to the Denny's breakfast. So just keep that in mind. You're saving on a couple of things. You're saving nutrition wise, and you're saving on money.
Yeah, no, you're right. And I think that's the thing that we want to look at is just look a way to find cost savings in ways, across the board, but also in your health. So one other thing just to share with you guys, we have multiple ways to get in touch with us. Our website, you can email us at dhf@primeinc.com. Our office here in Springfield is upstairs. We have Maria out in Pittston, Matt out in Salt Lake City. Come and see us. I'll be down here with my card. We do have a lot of our stuff, like Rachel's talking about, our YouTube channel. You can go on our YouTube channels, all the content we've ever shot. So food prep, exercise, all those things, they're on my business card. So come see us and let us know what we can do to help.
Thank you guys.
So hang on just a second here, Rachel. Nutritionist question here. So, all right, let's say that you want a snack just to have on the truck, something that's quick, something that maybe I can just go out and purchase if I don't want to prep it, make it, on the truck. What are some, 3 or 4 good things to have on the truck for some good energy, some good proteins?
For a meal or a snack?
Just a snack.
A snack. Okay, yeah. So any kind of fruit is going to be awesome, like apples, bananas, oranges. They can stay, fresh for a while. You can keep them for a while and then get them paired with a bag of, instead of going in the truck stops and buying the bags of nuts there, go to the grocery store, kind of stock up on those bags of nuts. And that's a great protein source. So it's a great way to get your energy from your fruit paired with your protein from your nuts so that the energy lasts for 2, 3, 4 hours instead of crashing in 30 minutes. So that's a good one. I really like Greek yogurt too. That's a great snack to kind of prep on. And then, things like beef jerky, hard-boiled eggs. Those are also awesome.
All right. Thank you very much. I need to reassess my diet because a lot of those things aren't what I'm eating during the day. So
Yeah, I know they're talking about omelets and stuff like that, but there's no toast, no home fries.
they skipped all of that, I think. So any questions for Bill? You got a question over here.
So I have a question for Rachel. Rachel, there are a lot of drivers who enjoy eating meat. What kind of suggestions would you have for those drivers who enjoy eating meat? What kind of meat should they consider as healthy while they're on the road?
Yeah, thank you for that. So all kinds of meats are going to be totally fine to do. I really like having like an Instapot or a crock pot for meats because you can throw it in, set it, forget it, and it's done at the end of your shift, or you can do an Instapot and it's done in 20 minutes, even like from frozen. So that's a great thing to do. And then just throwing in a can of veggies or a bag of frozen veggies, some way to get some fiber in there to kind of counteract the fats that are in meat. They're all good fats, but sometimes we don't need all of those fats. So veggies kind of help balance out the fat content of meat.
So is this red meat, chicken, fish? What's maybe the preferred if you had to pick?
So I would say they're all totally fine to do. you might want to do red meat in smaller quantities if you have like a family history of heart disease or diabetes. That is running in your family and you know it's something that you might run into, you might want to do red meat just a couple times a week. But yeah, the fish, chicken, pork, turkey. all
Okay.
great.
Dee, did that answer your question? All right. Got another question here.
I apologize. I've listened to you guys over the last year to 2 years come up and talk, and you guys have always mentioned the Instapot, the crock pot, or skillets. But us truckers, when we're talking amongst each other, or even new people upgrading and they're wondering what to put in their truck, we're always telling each other to get the Galans microwave, the 4-in-1. So do you guys have like a set stuff that, hey, if this is the Galans and all you got, like these are the recipes? Because that's, I'm not saying people don't have that other stuff, but the majority of us just have the Galans because it takes so much space away, you know?
I can do everything, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if that's what you have, under our menu tab on our website, so driverhealthandfitness.com, we've got a menu tab there, and there's a services tab, and then underneath that is a bunch of stuff. So you can sign up for nutrition counseling with me, you could sign up for a call with one of the personal trainers, or there's a recipe tab. So in that recipe, where all those recipes live, there's a filter button. So you can filter by any type of equipment that you want. So I feel like I talk about those. I don't know why. A lot of drivers have them, and I don't like talk about the Galans, but the Galans is a great one to have, and you can filter for recipes for that.
Awesome. All right, good deal. Good question there. All right, well, thank you very much, Colby and Rachel. So we're going to bring up Brennan in our log department next. Brennan hasn't been up here in a couple of weeks, I don't think. So welcome back, Brennan.
Hi, thank you. Good morning, everyone. So today we're going to go over inspections that we saw the last week. The first being failure to provide the paper logbook. Now, this is what we call low-hanging fruit, right? You need this paper logbook at all times, even if the Qualcomm is fully functional. Reason being, the Qualcomm unit can go down at any point without warning. Now, the Prime paper logbook is absolutely an amazing resource to have. In the last 10 pages or so, you've got instructions for how to send your logs to DOT. You've got the diagnostics and malfunction sheet in the event DOT wants to see that. You've got the driver card. And in the event the Qualcomm goes down and you don't remember how to do paper logs, there is also a sample graph grid that will walk you through the entire process. There's tips and tricks about how to log on paper as well, if you look at the last sheet and the very back of the paper logbook. Now, these are free of charge at Springfield, Salt Lake, and Pittston. So if you do not have one, please pick one up ASAP. If you're over the road and you currently do not have a paper logbook, please do not wait until the last minute to pick one up. Please go to a local truck stop, pick one up ASAP. That way you're prepared in the event you're stopped by an officer. Now, the other thing we saw drivers being cited for was failure to certify HOS. You've got to make sure that you're certifying every single day. It is an FMCSA requirement. Now, we do see lots of drivers hesitate about certifying logs because they're worried once they certify that they can't make changes to their log. That is absolutely not true, and it's not been true for several years. There should be nothing holding you back from certifying your logs. Please go in every single day into the Certify tab, agree to your logs. That way you're prepared in the event you're inspected. You can actually be cited multiple times for multiple days if you fail to certify those days throughout the week. Now, another thing we saw several drivers cited for was HOS violations. All right. Trip planning is absolutely your best friend. It could be a make or break for your success. A close second here is going to be communication with your support team. So I would recommend that you go in and you trip plan every single day. And I mean plan out every stop along the way, every fuel, every washout, every customer, and every stopping point. I know it seems like a lot, but it's only going to take you a few minutes, and it's going to take so much stress off of your back, knowing where you're stopping throughout your shift. It's also going to help you pace yourself. And if you fall behind, I would recommend you communicate with your support team, both logs and your fleet manager. If you find that you can no longer legally make your appointments on time, communicate so we can look at making adjustments on this end. Now, one thing that is worse than HOS violations is going to be PC misuse, and that does continue to be an issue. We did see a driver cited for that in the last week. So keep in mind, personal conveyance is exactly what it sounds like. It is strictly for personal movements only. If you're making a work-related movement, we're talking going to fuel, wash out, the shop, customers, going to the terminal, going to pick up or drop a trailer, pick up or drop a co-driver. You have to show drive for all those movements because it is work. Typically, if you're using PC, you're leaving a customer, going to the first closest safe place to finish up a break, or if you're asked to move by an officer, you can use PC to go the first closest safe place and finish up that break. It's also not meant for those longer distances. We are still seeing several drivers misusing PC for hours on end. It's only meant for those small movements within the vicinity, typically in town type use. So with that, do I have any questions or concerns regarding logs? All right. Getting off easy.
No, not quite yet. So a couple questions that I have here. So, you and I talked before the meeting here, and we've got the PC test program that we've got out, which will be, establishing fleet-wide by the end of the summer. And so we talked about that going from the number one issue we were having, personal conveyance, to 5th or 6th now.
Yeah, number 6.
Okay, so we're doing a good job. We're going in the right direction there. So what do we need to bring down now? I know the couple things you've talked about. What's our number one offense right now?
So the number one offense for hours of service is going to be a false record of duty status. Now, this is kind of complicated in the sense that personal conveyance still plays into that. We do see a lot of officers citing a false record of duty status for PC misuse. But the specific improper use of PC exception has in fact dropped to number 6. Now, other issues that play into that false record of duty status is going to be missed on duty time, right? You're not logging on duty to account for fuel or work at customers or your pre or post trip inspection. We're also seeing drivers cited for not logging sleeper berth properly. Off duty and sleeper berth both count toward the same breaks, such as your 10, your 30-minute, and your reset, but they don't mean the same thing to DOT. Sleeper is going to indicate rest, and that's DOT's only evidence of rest. So anytime you're physically in the bunk, please make sure to show sleeper. If you're up front hanging out or you get off the truck, that's when you would show off duty.
All right, thank you very much. So good job. Anybody, no questions here for Brennan while she's up here? All right, well, thank you very much, Brennan. We appreciate it. All right, we're going to bring some folks up from our maintenance department again. We're going to bring back Doug Tam and Philip Goler, and I believe they've been up here just recently, but they're going to talk a little bit more about the Thermo Kings and help us out a little bit with that.
All right. Good morning, everybody. First off, good luck to those driver championship folks that are participating in that. And that's a huge deal we do for our drivers. So if you want to participate, get with Dave White and these safety folks. We'd love to have you out there pulling some of those challenges out. I just came up because I wanted to announce we're going to be implementing our emergency line today. So at 10 a.m., you're going to have the option whenever you call in a road assist. It's going to give you 2 options starting off. It's going to say press 1 for an emergency option, and it's going to go through what an emergency is. So an emergency isn't, if you're looking for warranty dollars or, if you have an invoice that hasn't been paid yet. An emergency is going to be when you're broken down on the side of the highway or interstate, or if your reefer is down and you may lose your load. So for those options, you'll press option 1, and you'll have an answer 100% of the time with no hold time. That's my guarantee. That's what we're going to push out there. And the idea is we're going to talk you through to make sure you're deploying your triangles properly, make sure you put your high vis on. If traffic's way too heavy for you to even get out of your truck, we're going to help you diagnose those situations to keep you in a safe environment and just give you a calm voice to talk you through those scenarios. It's a scary deal being broken down on the side of the interstate or highway, so we want to help you out. Your third option or your second option is going to be, hold to speak to your operator. And we'll also have our callback function available too. So if our advisors are tied up, you'll be able to push
one for a callback function. So whenever an advisor becomes available, you'll then get transferred over to them and you will receive a call instead of waiting on hold. So, that's a big deal for us. I think it'll be great customer service, just an added customer service for you all. But I wanted to bring Philip Goller up today. I've had several drivers call me and ask me about these Thermal Kings, how to set the IntelliSets, temperatures, all that good stuff. So I'll leave it up to Philip here.
All right, thank you, Doug. And again, good luck to all you drivers out there competing today. So we're going to cover today a little bit. I've got a couple of things as far as doing the OptiSets, but while we're waiting for that, I just want to stress the importance of doing a pre-trip on that trailer. I know Andy covered it last week on checking for those bird nests. Those can be quite problematic. So again, back up to that trailer, inspect that reefer unit for any damage you might have. Okay, very important. Walk around the trailer, look for door seals, kazoos missing, drain tubes, anything like that's going to let that cold air escape. So pre-trips are important. And just so you know, if you hit the pre-trip button, okay, on a trailer, it doesn't matter where it's Carrier or Thermal King, it's going to take about 15 minutes. So by the time you get hooked up, you can walk around that trailer, it's running the pre-trip, and you're going to be good to go before you leave that vendor, the customer.
Looks like you're not a wing it, Philip. Make
Yeah,
it happen.
maybe not. Okay. Oh, there we go. Okay. Here, we'll cover this one first. This is actually what we call our maintenance switch. So if you ever have a HMI, your controller that freezes up, let's say just freezes on product or won't do anything, open that door. There's a picture. You can see the controller. That's our maintenance switch. That's a microprocessor switch. Just switch that off for about 10, 15 seconds. Okay. Flick it back on, turn your HMI on, and you should be go. We've had that happen about 2 or 3 times, so not too many, but I wanted to point that out. Here's another one I wanted to cover. Ours is a little bit different. If you ever run it out of fuel or it runs out of fuel, normally it's going to shut down first. But if you need to prime our fuel system, we have an electric fuel pump. So from your HMI, you can see we got an alarm there. Okay, we've run out of fuel. So we're going to hit the menu button. And then once you go in the menu, you're going to scroll all the way to the bottom, and there's going to be a screen that says Prime Fuel System. You're going to hit Select. The system will take over. It'll prime the fuel system for you. Okay? Yeah. Yeah. No more hand pumping. Yes.
Hang on a second. Let's get Paul Higgins the microphone here. He loves to talk.
Yeah.
Quick. Hey, can you remind everybody that our programming is set to shut the unit off before it runs out of fuel?
Correct.
So no more bloody thumbs.
Right.
But that's awesome that you have the electric.
Yeah. Yes. Paul is correct. Yes. Our system will shut down. You will get an alarm. So not only will you have one alarm, you're probably going to have like 4 because there's going to be code, 20 failed to crank or whatever, but you'll get a low fuel alarm. It will shut down. And then if it does, for some reason, whatever happens, you can use the electric fuel pump to prime the system. Okay, here we're going to manually change our set point. Okay, so ours is a little bit different. You're going to have to go. Can you go back one slide on that? Is there? Okay, go. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, there we go. Okay, first you have to, in our system, you have to select the product. Okay, that's our OptiSet file. Okay, so you're going to select the product, and you can see on this screen on the right, we've changed it. You're going to use a plus or minus to change it to, in this instance, Fuel Hog Fresh. It's going to ask you, is this what you want? Yes or no. If you don't pick yes or no, it's going to default to whatever it was before. So hit yes or no. Okay, go to the next screen, and then it's going to ask you, backward. There we go. Okay, so then it's going to ask you, do you want to change the set point? So as you can see on this at the top, I don't know if you can see it very well, but it gives you a degree range. So you're going to use the plus or minus. Next screen, once you change it, so we change it to 40, it's going to ask me yes or no. Hit yes, and you're good to go. So really simple. Any questions on that?
Any questions for Road Assist or Thermal King at all?
And if you need help with any of this, Road Assist or myself, we're available to help you with anything. Yeah.
We do. Okay, we've got one online. Are we going to get the Thermal King 3rd generation tri-pack anytime soon?
I can't answer that one.
We're
testing some right now, I can tell you that. Okay.
We're testing everything.
Yeah, we're testing that. Yeah, yep.
Don't want to overcommit to Philip here. He might
Right,
get,
yeah.
he might get a bonus.
We do
or
have two of them out there
something,
testing, so.
We'll negotiate pricing first.
Right,
Philip?
right.
No, thank you. Thank you for all for what you
Yep.
do. We appreciate you.
Yep, thank
you.
y'all. Have a good day.
All right, thank you guys. So we keep rolling right along here. We're going to bring up Clinton Williams from our reefer dispatch department and Jeff Chisholm from our cargo claim department. So they're going to talk a little bit about cargo claims again this week.
Good morning. Again, my name's Clinton. I'm a fleet manager on the refrigerated side. We've had some claims here lately, and we're also getting into hotter temperatures, so it's always good to, sorry, I guess I'm out of the picture. I guess I got to scoot back over. I'm not used to be talking down here too often, but anyways, so we're all in summer, so there's a lot of hotter temps out right now. It's always good to be more diligent about making sure you take care of your load, and that way we hopefully don't end up with a claim. At the end of the day, we're all here to make money. We don't want to give anything back if we don't have to, that's for sure. And some of these claims can get very expensive in a hurry and are mostly preventable unless it's a shipper issue, of course. But so before you go to your shipper, one of the best things you do, and you need to be doing this for every load, is always to pre-trip your trailers. Get up inside the trailer, make sure you use a flashlight, see if there's any damage on the sidewalls, insulation showing, rivets missing, holes in the chute torn. If that is the case, find it early and often, get it fixed before we go, and then make sure you have a washout done. And there's also a drying and tell set on your reefers now. If you don't know that, you can actually run that, because some shippers require an odor-free and dry trailer. If they do that, then you can run that. Once it kicks off, you might have to run it again depending on how wet the trailer is still, and then pre-cool your trailer as well, especially on frozen loads this time of year. You want to make sure you're close to temp, or else they probably won't load you, and they may not pay attention either in that situation. Upon checking in, make sure you are aware of what your load is, whether it's a SLC, meaning shipper load count, or SLDC, shipper load driver count. The main differences in those would be on the shipper load driver count, you need to make sure that you are obviously checking in with the PO numbers, pickup numbers that you have on your load assignment, all of them. Make sure you're loading with all of them, but also case counts, you are responsible for counting. So on the SLDC loads, these are typically produce loads. You want to be sure that you are verifying what's being loaded because you're on the dock counting what's loading. If they do not allow you on the dock, then you need to make sure you make that aware to your fleet manager and claims. So that's documented, so that way, because you're not able to be on the dock to count it, so you can't be responsible for the count. Is that accurate, Jeff?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything you need to add so far?
You know, really, I mean, what Clinton's kind of going over is just a list of good practices. You know, and he can share some more information, but if we'll establish this list of good practices, we'll faithfully follow them and do this every time. I mean, we're 99.9% of the time, we're going to deliver successfully and claim free. And it's these little details that Clinton's talking about. And certainly we can help you with all these items. We can, you know, help you establish a good list. I mean, these are just the main things we need to follow for each and every load. And typically it's when we get lax or we forget a step or we miss a step, it's kind of where we get in trouble. And I know you got some other information regarding en route, you know, securing trailers. I mean, can you kind of share, you know, what are some of the expectations you have and some of the instructions you have for your fleet, and kind of how, you know, what else do they need to do to help prevent claims?
Okay, so after you have verified the counts and the pickup numbers, and make sure on the bills when you get them that they match what's loaded on the trailer. So if you did count it, make sure that matches, whether it's over or under what you actually were supposed to be getting. That part will be sorted out when you call the depart call in before you leave. Circle the temperature, initialize it so you verify that you have eyes on the bills with the actual temperature they want you to run. That's just something we started doing here recently to help with minimizing our claims, because sometimes with all the technology, it becomes pretty easily, I mean, we all have a habit of it, just checking our phones, and it's easier that way. But in reality, the bills are the legal document, and that you are the last line of defense. Mistakes will happen, and they have happened, and probably will continue to happen on all levels. And that's why it's important we have this procedure in place. So hopefully we can catch those with your help. And then as far as blocking and bracing, make sure there is no single pallets in the rear of the trailer. Reason being, you cannot secure a single pallet very well, and that will tip more than likely. I've had it happen numerous times. So if that happens, you ask the shipper to fix that and do not leave until they fix it, regardless, or we won't leave. You can get people involved if you need to, fleet manager and claims if you need to, but once they have double pallets on the back, side by side, and to fix a single, if they don't know how, they should, but put the single between a pair of doubles, and that's the best way to do it. And then set 2 or more load locks in the back. Also, another thing while you're being loaded, you could take some pulp temps as well on produce loads specifically and make a note of that. And if there's anything that looks off or damaged that you can see already at that point, take pictures and notify claims before you are finished loading. And then also make sure you verify the seal and put an alloy lock on the back of your trailer. Always have an alloy lock back there. I know firsthand experience, just because you buy the highest dollar lock you can get at Lowe's, those can be busted pretty easily. Had one side-by-side trailer, little quick story, but 2 trailers, exact same load going to the exact same place. And one had alloy, the other one had a normal lock. One of them was cut, one of them wasn't. So that's just how easily that can happen. But so they definitely work. And trip plan so you're on time. Plan to be early. If you plan to be on time, you're already late. Of course, don't plan to be so early to where we're in trouble, such as Walmart OTIP policy, of course. But because some of these loads are time based and the shelf life is limited on them. So if we are late, we have to reschedule. That could lead to a claim. And once we are unloaded, make sure we are verifying with your own eyes the back of the trailer. If we do not do that, there can be product left in the back and we may not be able to see it. This is why I would suggest having a flashlight of some sort to shine up there or get all the way up in there to look, just to be certain. We just had a few recently that was shipper or receiver didn't say nothing on the bills, but yet pretty expensive claim resulted because of that. So I think that's all I got. Scan your bills in a timely manner whenever you're all said and done, so that way we can bill for everything. We don't lose anything. So anything else I missed?
Well, that's pretty well. I mean, does everybody kind of understand that once we sign for these loads, I mean, it's in our care, custody, and control, and we are responsible. I mean, once we pick the load up from the shipper, it's kind of ours to manage and maintain and make sure we deliver it in that same good condition. So there's a lot of things that can happen in transit. There's a lot of things that can happen at a shipper, at a receiver. You know, communicate any issues that you have with your fleet manager. Communicate with claims. I mean, we're happy to work with you. We're happy to go through all the steps and do everything we can that you know, to keep you guys claim free, to keep us claim free. It's a waste of money, and it's better off in our pockets. So anybody have any questions for Clinton regarding a fleet manager perspective, for me on claims?
Okay, thank you. That was a good presentation. I'm still training, so I just wanted to know, are you like, I know, Chinese, amen.
Yeah.
All right, so I just wanted to know, so you're saying at the receiver, we need to go inside. We don't have to touch the freight, but we need to count like the dry goods and make sure they match the bill.
That was mainly for the shipper. You want to count while being loaded. So that way you ensure that you are getting the right counts on SLDC loads. We'll have that on your shipper on the 01 information. And that stands for shipper load driver count. And that is whenever you are the responsible one for the count. And that's why you need to be asking to be on the dock to do that. And if they do not load you, then yes, you want to make sure the bills match what they do load and then confirm whether or not that's all right to go whenever you call your department call in.
So they don't mind us being right.
If they do refuse to let you on the dock, communicate that to claims, and you can make a note on it as well on the bills. But that no longer becomes a SLDC if they load it. It becomes a SLC load if they try to do that. Which since COVID, that has happened more. Jeff and I were just talking that before this meeting started, actually. So that's something that they are actually trying to address more across the board. But I know many still are allowing you to do that. So.
One more question. How do you spell the name of the lock that you want us to get?
ABLOY, Abloy.
Thank you. Wonderful presentation.
Anyone?
This isn't 100% directly to your guys' presentation, but since you brought up COVID and what has happened during COVID, us drivers, a lot of us got kicked out of these buildings and gave us porta potties only. And they won't let us in the restrooms. And what we're seeing is a lot of these porta potties, they're not getting cleaned, but like once a month or, once every 2 weeks. And it's kind of normal now that if you don't go there with toiletries and cleaning up supplies and spend a good 2 minutes to clean up before you can even sit down, like people look at you weird. I mean, that's how bad it is now. So is Prime pushing as a company to try to get us back in those driver restrooms so that way they have cleaning companies cleaning them and we're kind of treated a little bit more like humans these days?
Man, I really appreciate your comments. My name's Steve Wetke. I'm in sales, and I can absolutely assure you that if you share that information with your fleet manager, it'll get to us. We'll go to that shipper and that receiver, and we'll take action. Now, it's not going to be overnight, and many of these people that we deal with are not aware of some of those facilities and how nasty they can be. I mean, literally nasty. I get it. And we don't like it. And I don't think our shippers really like it either. I think they want to do better. So it's really about communicating. If you'll just take the time, give us the location of the facility, the shipper or receiver, and we'll work on trying to clean that up for you.
Is the survey good enough for you guys, the macro survey?
It's really better to make a call to your fleet manager and let them know, or a Qualcomm note or something like that. Yes, we use those, but they're really not detailed enough. Keith, go ahead.
Yeah, the survey is only sent out on like 1 out of every 20 orders randomly. So the chances of that survey coming in on your particular load at that particular time, it's Mr. Hit or miss. The best way to do it's like he's talking about, as it happens, when it happens, let the fleet manager know it's in there.
And here's what's interesting and why I say that I think you'd be better served to speak to your fleet manager. When I look through those, I seldom see comments like I know the reality is, for some reason we don't get those. So please take the time and do that. We want to make it better. I think our customers want to make it better. Okay? Thanks for those comments.
Anything else on the claims front?
Are you guys trying to implement anything new on like the flatbed side for claims and stuff? For like plastic and.
Actually, I believe that's going to be one of our next topics here.
So we'll let our next speaker answer that question. We're bringing up Brian Brown with Flatbed next, so.
Yeah, good question. We had an incident just a couple of weeks ago where a guy picked up a load in Medford, Oregon, took it all the way to Jacksonville. When he got to the receiver, the load was turned down because it was wet. The load was tarped. Where the mistake was made, the shipper offered plastic to the driver to cover the load. When you're going that far with a load, your chances of running through weather are pretty good. So the guy got to the end and his load was refused. It was a $38,000 claim. There was only $1,700 worth of damage or of salvage. And so just a very disheartening thing. And I agree with what these guys said earlier. I think one of the most disheartening things that can go on is you work your butt off, you get to the other end, you have a claim, and there's a lot of expense, there's a lot of time, and plus the cost of that claim. So we need to do everything we can to avoid those kind of things. And we have, to answer specifically to you, we've gone in, and if you see an order come across that doesn't have some information regarding plastic or something of that nature, then bring it to our attention, because we've tried to go through our customer list and put that information in there in the body of the order and also in the directions. So, Brian?
Yeah, I agree with those comments.
you know, one thing I always want to reiterate, whether you're flatbed, tanker, you know, reefer, it's the same type of thought process. When you get your bills, when you get your load dispatch, or if you get instructions from someone at the shipper or the receiver, be sure that, you know, if something doesn't match up, if something doesn't add up, get your dispatcher on the phone, get sales on the phone, but double check, just protect yourself, you know. Flatbed, if we get a load that says on your dispatch, it needs to be tarped, you get there, someone at the dock says, oh no, this is fine. You don't need to tarp it, just go ahead. If you trust that person, get to the other end, that receiver is going to say, you know, hey, this was supposed to be tarped. They may reject the load. You've not protected yourself. Get a name of who's telling you that, have them sign it on your bills, get a hold of your dispatch, get a hold of claims, you know, just take yourself out of the equation so that it doesn't come back on you. Protect yourself. Just double check those things. Anything in your load dispatch or the instructions that doesn't add up or doesn't match what's on your bills, what someone's telling you, you always need to get someone on the phone and make sure and protect yourself. So I won't talk any more about that, but you know, we're really excited. It's an exciting time here at Prime. Welcome all you know, new folks here, and we're really excited to have you. When you come to Prime, you are family. You'll see that every day as you're here. We just really want to welcome you. We're excited about what's going on in the market. It doesn't sound like it's always great news, but there's a lot of good things going on. You know, we recently, you know, we're always forecasting. We recently attended a American Trucking webinar. And if you look at a lot of what's coming down the road, one thing that is always consistent is the driver shortage. That's not going away. You guys are as valuable or more than you ever have been. And if you look at the forecasting for the next several years, that problem is only going to get worse. We need good drivers. We're going to have the freight for you. We've been through these cycles. We know what to do. You're in the right place. When you came to Prime, you made a good decision. You're going to make good money here. And whatever your goals are, whether it's, you know, you want to buy your first house, you want to put your kids through college, you want to buy a car, you want to put your grandkids through college, or whatever it is, we really love to see those dreams come true. And they come true here every day with our drivers. And we want you to be excited about that. We've got a lot of good things coming. We're adding new customers constantly. We're adding new business to our existing customers. We're growing that business. We've got great partnerships with our customer base. So super excited about it. Appreciate what you guys do. If you have any questions, I'm always here. Brian Brown in Sales, Flatbed. Reach out to me and we'll be here for you.
All right. Thank you, Brian. Any questions for Flatbed while Brian's up here? All right. Well, thank you very much. Well, you know, a lot of good information and something that I just, you know, picked up on with our speakers today, whether we're hearing Brendan or Clinton or Brian here and Jeff and everything, you know, one of the things that's been brought up over and over is trip planning. And the more you trip plan, you know, really the less stress you're going to have out there on the road. If you're sitting there and you're waiting until the last minute to take off and you're planning there to be on time, you know, that creates a lot of additional stresses because, you know, Rick, nothing ever goes the way you want it to go, right? Especially in this business. So,
It never does.
as Clinton can tell you, and I used to be a fleet manager, but if you put a plan together today for however many trucks tomorrow, you're going to put a new plan together for the exact number of trucks you did the day before. So always good to do proper trip planning. And again, it's going to relieve stress. It's going to make you a safer driver out there on the road, which is our number one priority. So, all right, we're going to move on here just a little bit. We're going to talk about our red shirts that everybody's wearing up here that you see up here and our vendors here in the back. So, you know, every Friday we wear red, which stands for Remember Everyone Deployed. So we'd like to take a moment. If you've served in our armed forces, if you could please stand up and let us recognize you and let us thank you for your services.
Thank you.
Thank you guys very much. And we're going to bring up Keith McCoy here real quick. Keith's going to talk about a neat deal that's going on here in Springfield. I believe it's next week. Is that right, Keith?
Yeah, it is. You know, like most of you guys, when I was growing up, we used to have these huge family reunions out in the country at my uncle's place, and I get to see all the cousins and the aunts and the uncles and everything. And I always had a favorite cousin named James, and James was about 5 years older than I was. And I get to see him maybe twice a year at the family reunion and then around Christmas. And so in the early 70s, James was in the Army and he was killed in action in Vietnam. And about 25 years forward from that, I had the opportunity to go to Washington to the Vietnam Veterans Memorial and find James's name on the wall and do the etching, and got to talk to a lot of pretty cool people and hear their stories. So now here we go, 2023. We have a carrier partner named Wheel-Trans that's involved in bringing the wall that heals, which is a replica. I wish JC was here because JC knows more about this than anybody, but a wall that heals is a replica of the Vietnam Veterans Memorial. It's coming to Springfield next week on Wheel-Trans. And it'll be here in Springfield, June 8th through the 11th at Wesley United Methodist Church on Republic Road. And it's available 24 hours a day during that period of time for anybody that wants to go there to see it. It's pretty cool. And then September 24th to the 26th, Prime is going to be involved in transporting the wall from Kutztown to Brooklyn. So it's a great deal. I encourage you to take advantage of it while it's here. It's really a neat thing. So next up, Steve.
Hey, thank you. Yeah, great, Keith. Yeah, I've been lucky enough to see the wall in Washington, and I actually see the mobile wall too that comes around a couple of years ago. And it's a art rendering situation because so many people gave their lives. So take a minute and do that. And I'd like to also, I got John up here. John, you're doing all the questioning. Come here, get a microphone. I got something for you. You know, when you start talking about these driving championships,
yes,
Salt Lake City, we got a team, we got guys down here in Springfield and in Branson. We wish them the very best. But how do you get to be on that team? I mean, we probably got a lot of people that want to, but don't understand. So how did these guys get picked to be on this team?
So what we'll do in order to qualify for these teams here, we'll have a truck driving championship this summer at our Prime Picnic here in Springfield.
There you go.
And absolutely anybody can enter as long as you've got a CDL and work here. Now, if you win or place in the top to where you can move on, there are some criteria that you need to meet. For instance, you've got to be accident free for 1 year prior to the actual truck driving championship. So, you know, unfortunately, as example, this year we had a driver who's competed for a long time, many years, who somebody had a lane change, came into our lane and hit him, not his fault, but under the criteria, he can't compete this year. So there are a few things there that you have to qualify for, but we encourage everybody to come out, sign up, and, you know, give these guys that we see every year up here a run for their money out there.
That's really the point. I think everybody should know that you can participate, and it's a great experience. You learn a lot about yourself and about your skill set, and, you know, it doesn't cost anything. Just get out here and see how good you're back, and you know what your skills really are when it comes to measuring against your peer group. So it's a very cool thing. Yeah, just real quickly, I want to talk about sales for a minute because it is a little bit tougher than we've seen for quite some time. You know, the economy's struggling a little bit, but here's what I want to tell you: we're winning. We're finding freight. We're seeing a lot of these bid processes that came to the reality just a few months ago. Already we're getting calls from some of those customers to cover some of the lanes we lost. So it's a challenge right now, but we'll run you to freight. So just be patient with us. We'll get this thing going the right way again. You know, we're really flattening out our growth. We're not adding additional equipment. We're going to wait till we see signs of the freight business turning. And seriously, we're seeing it. California's coming alive, finally getting a produce season out there. Florida's hot right now. Georgia's moving well. So we got some good things going on. I know it's tough. It can be discouraging, but look, you got a lot of partners. You heard Kent, the fleet manager here. He takes care of his drivers as customers. Your family. He wants you to be successful. Every one of our fleet managers wants you to be successful at what you're doing. You've got dreams. We want to be a part of those dreams. We want to see it be a positive experience for you. There's some headwinds. There's breakdowns. There's safety. There's logs. There's all of these other things you have to be compliant with. We get it. But you've got a lot of partners. You've got a lot of support here. So don't be a victim. Talk to people. Don't put yourself in a claim situation that you end up losing money for something that you could have prevented. Share information. You got cameras. Take pictures. You know, if you're not allowed on the dock to count the product when you're loading on a live load, make a note of that. Take a picture. Defend yourself. Protect yourself. Okay? So just due diligence to your profession and to your earning ability, okay? Look, I've rattled on here a little bit too much, but number one, this Vietnam Wall thing is very emotional. A lot of people touched a lot of lives in the past, and we all still live with that. So, you know, if you get a chance to look at that and find somebody, a family member or a friend that you lost, it makes you feel good. Now, I'd like to bring up the guy that started this company with one truck a few years ago. How's that? A few years?
A little more than a few.
Okay, a few more than a few. Anyway, this is a guy that started Prime a few years ago, drove himself, had a few breakdowns along the way, crawled under the truck, tried to find the oil leaks, all that stuff. Probably ran over hours, had log problems, I suppose.
I probably drove a little bit fast.
Yeah, probably fuel mileage sucked.
And those paper logs, they're a lot easier to get around than these electronic logs. Man, I feel for you all now. Man, I don't think you can cheat those electronic logs. Not saying that I cheated that much, but.
Well, no, because you knew safety is our highest calling. It was then, it still is. So
it is. You got to be safe.
We never want to forget that. And I should have said, thank you all for your service. You're the best in the business. Sorry, I forgot that, Robert. Now you can go ahead.
Yeah, and you all are doing a hell of a job. And that's what's keeping us, you know, in the game. That's why we have the business that we have and why we have hopes for building it, because nobody out there can really compete with the service we're providing. We've got the numbers to prove it. We work hard on it. You know, maybe it gets a little bit redundant. You get a little bit tired of hearing about all the prompts and everything, but what we're trying to do and what we're achieving is just beating the socks off the competition. And that's great. So we've got high hopes. We are actually optimistic for our business possibilities going forward, because, you know, we get some of this riffraff out of here. They don't have business. They got old trucks, fuel inefficient, and just aren't the operators that you all are. They'll be gone. And it's supply and demand, right? It's supply and demand. So as capacity is taken out of the industry, that improves things for everyone. And just on that score, I mean, these facilities that don't allow our drivers access to good, clean restrooms, that's just bullshit. That you know, we don't agree with that in any way. So let us know, and we will correct it one way or another. So I thank you, folks. We just push on. You know, you have a great attitude. We just push on. We have a great team here to support you. Call on them, utilize them. They know what they're doing. This place wasn't built with smoke and mirrors. I'd like to believe I did it all myself, but I get way too much credit because we got a ton of good people that make it happen every day. So thanks again for what you do. God bless you and be safe out there.